You know, I'm going to introduce Mark here, man, one of my business partners and a good friend, but Mark is amazing. The first year we were in business, 1.49 the whole year. Now they did it at 1.2 in a week. It's just like, it's crazy how this business can change if you go to work.
No,
yeah.
no.
But so the numbers, here's what it means. So we write in green, I guess that's green. Yeah, green, blue, and pink. I like pink. We used to write in red for blood, but pink's even better.
Why, Mike? Why is pink better?
You gotta be a real man to wear pink. But we write in green if you write over 5,000 for the week. Blue if you're between 2,500 and 5,000, and then pink if you're under 2,500. The reason being, we want you to understand, we want you to be in business. Okay, we're not meaning to embarrass you, but we are meaning to embarrass you. We're hoping you'll get tired of writing in pink, because you should be tired of being broke. Does that make sense? It's like y'all heard me say it: broke people are no fun. They're not. I don't want you to be broke. We want you to make money, so therefore we have the different colors. The numbers. The first number is 15. Can you see that? So 15. Jermaine had 15 appointments. He sold $22,282. He sold 10 policies. Okay? So he sold 10. So basically, if you're trying to figure out how much Jermaine's going to make next week, someone's probably already approved. It's easy to just do half. So, yeah.
That's 10 sold half.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
1 week.
Yeah. Who you used to work with? I mean, who used to work? Well, are we live? We are live, aren't we?
Listening.
All right. Yeah, we won't mention no names. Yeah, so like Brad had 26 appointments. He sold 9 for $9,200. Does that make sense? So evidently you're not used to running no appointments, whoever you're a face. That's why you're here. Who hired you?
Don.
Don?
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to get used to running appointments. You were here last week when he was here?
This is my first day.
Ever?
Yeah.
Are you licensed?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, so we work around here. Like Mark will get into that more. Because he set the table 4 or 5 years ago. Why? Because we were running, our numbers used to like this one in the pink, 2 appointments, 1 app for $600. And then Mark set the table to run more appointments, to work hard, outwork. Here's the cool thing about this business is you can outwork. You don't have to be really good as long as you're willing to outwork other people. Does that make sense? And then once you outwork them, then you become good. It's kind of weird like how it works because Middle America doesn't change. But yeah, so those are the numbers. And Jermaine, he's booked 10 appointments. I don't know, some of you guys have dialed, I guess. Is this John or Mike? Who's 9?
That's me.
All right, so John. How long have you been with us, John? You look fairly new.
This will be my 4th month.
Fourth month, 20 appointments, 6,500 for 4 apps. Who hired you, John? Izzy, awesome. Shelly, 14 appointments, 5 apps for 10,280, 7. So we just track our numbers, okay? So that's because it's important to know where you are. Also, it helps a manager kind of know how to help. Like we were talking, you couldn't hear us. I asked it. Phone scripts, like 13 appointments, she only sold 1. I'd say she's better than that, I know. So I said a lot of no-shows rescheduled. She said yes. I said let's do better tie downs. I mean, it's very simple. Once you look at the numbers, we don't do it to micromanage you, but we do it to be able to help you. That means the way I look at it. It's your bank account, not mine. I'm not, I want you to win, so we can look at these numbers and tell kind of what you need to work on from day to day. All right. So, any more questions about the numbers? Good? You're right. How many you booked today? 8. You must have got up late.
I call in the evening too.
Oh, here we go. You know what? I never did. You know why? I had more than 8 at 1 o'clock. Anyway.
I'll still break 10 off the 8.
Yeah, I know. You better not. You probably will. You have more than 8 anyways. Any more questions about numbers? Cool. Makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. So I had the pleasure to bring Mark up. Known Mark for I'm gonna get this right, because every time I talk about John, I've known him for 3.5 years, it's really been like 7. He gives me a hard time. But Mark, it's probably been 6 now, right? It's crazy, it's been that long. I can remember Mark Mark started at Founding First Life the same time I did. We started from the get-go. And he set the way. Like, how much did you sell the first year?
Probably 360.
360,000. Now you understand, like, what was our time? What, 170 something?
I was number 1 in your that year, 170.
170. So we transitioned. Like, one thing you'll learn about us and you guys, we're quick to change. Like, we're quick learners, right? Like Mark said that, it's like, oh, we're just not working enough. And me and John, and we talked to him more and learned what he was doing and just a simple work ethic. And but I couldn't be prouder of what he did to show us that. And now our numbers look like this because you guys have grabbed it and go, yeah, it makes sense. Just run more appointments, they'll give us more checks. So you got Mark for an hour and a half, I think. We'll give him whatever you want. I appreciate you more than you know, bro. And Marc Meade.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. How we doing?
Good.
Thanks, Mike, John, for having me and being able to contribute. I really like, we do this, I feel like Labor Day weekend's been our weekend for like 2 years in a row now.
Yeah.
But we got a bigger crowd than last year. So, I mean, it's growing. It's like crazy. I kind of want to give some perspective, and then we'll get into a Q&A. I want to kind of meet people where they're at and kind of figure out how we can best help. A lot of times, you could be in a place, stuck in a place, not know how to get out of a place to the next place because the only person you're talking to is you. Does that make sense? And there's only so much capacity up here if it's not being stretched by others. It's just what it is. So you always want to get around other people, associate. If the people are winning, the good news is if the people are winning, they're going to want to help you win. So if you're not exhausting people to find out what they know, you're doing you and your family a disservice. That's all these guys did. That's all I did. We just asked a lot of questions because we wanted to know what Sean knew. Right? I'm still trying to know what Sean knows. I mean, he's got 7,000 agents writing business. I mean, that makes sense to me. So when we look at this thing, man, I got to be honest. Some of you know my story, some of you don't, but I was in the mortgage business for, I want to say 8-9 years. And when I got out of the restaurant business to get into the mortgage business, the only thing I knew, like, this is what I knew. I was 24 years old, and they were saying that a buddy of mine was making like 13, 14, 15,000 a month, and we were both 24. So I was making 3,000 a month, and he was making 15. So there was a huge disparity. We were the same age. So I wanted to know what he knew. So I had this big, this grand dream to open up a restaurant. So I was in the restaurant business in management to learn how to run a restaurant so I could open up a sports bar. That would have been a huge mistake. So when he started showing me his checks from the mortgage business, I said, well, that's strong. Like, I still live with my mom. I'm going to take a risk. That was the very first time I took a real risk where everything relied on that. Like, so I just knew, like, I was making $3-4 grand in the restaurant business, so I just need to make $3-4 grand in the mortgage business. My man's making 15, I'll make 4. I just want to go par. Now, no salary, commission, straight commission. So how many people are in here who never been on commission before? First time you've been on commission? Show of hands high. Okay, so right now I'm talking to you. I was nervous, but there was a path to success. Does that make sense? So I knew that if someone else was doing it, that I could do it too. That should be no different for anybody in here. Someone else is doing this. Someone else is writing $22,000 in a week. I can do it too. Does that make sense? That's facts. That's not fiction. That's just facts. We're all human beings. There's nobody who has any robotic skills. They make their skills robotic, but their skills are not born robotic. So if someone can do it, I can do it. So I'm looking at this thing like, all right. So my first month in the mortgage business, I made $4,000. Right? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what I mean? Second month I made $6,000. Third month I made $8,000. Fourth month I made $10,000. Fifth month I made $12,000. And now that's a long ways away from $3,000 a month. Does that make sense? It happened like that, right? That year in the mortgages I made over $300,000. The following year I made about $250,000, and then the market wrapped up. Imagine that. You know, now I'm 26. I've never been through a financial downturn. I don't even know that markets could contract. I thought markets just expanded. They actually can contract. Well, that's what you learn in your 20s when you're a professional. I got kind of wrapped up in a lot, and I started trying to get into real estate. I was taking a lot of money, and I was taking loaned money to buy property, thinking that the real estate market wasn't collapsing. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, I bought a house that for $170,000 at a price of $400,000, and I mean in 4 months, the house was appraised at $270,000. Don't talk about being stuck. Nobody would lend money, so my money's stuck in the house. I can't get it out, Brian. There's no liquidity. They weren't lending money. They called it a credit crunch. They weren't lending anything. So I was stuck. So I'd use credit cards. Because I'm destined to be rich. I'll just use credit cards. One day I'll pay them off. Right? And all the time while I'm using credit cards to try to get rich. That was a very painful time. I mean, I didn't find a way back. And when the dust settled, there was the mortgage business and a bunch of junk. So I went back to the mortgage business in 2009. And it was the hardest $100,000 you'll ever want to make. But I already had created significant debt. Like shackle debt. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 20s. What 20-year-old should be 6 figures in debt? What 29, 27, 28-year-old should have that kind of debt? That's very poor money mismanagement. Or money management. Very poor. Does that make sense? But I didn't know what I didn't know. And Amy, I started seeking answers because I didn't know what I didn't know. And I would start asking people who were successful questions. And I started asking them about budgeting, and I started asking them about, investing and growing, and I started asking questions. I mean, I had this grand scheme of how I was going to flip properties and get out of debt. I'm talking to this one guy who's like, y'all know Dave Ramsey? Okay? Dave Ramsey got this total money makeover deal.
Yeah.
So the guy I'm talking to from my church is thinking like this guy. Like he's, So I'm talking about, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to roll this, and it's going to grow to this, and it's going to go to that. And he's like, dude, you got to get rid of this debt. So I make the grand idea of bringing Robin with me to the second meeting, and she's scared to half to death because I'd have ruined our whole family. It's over. I'm 29 and it's over. So I'm showing him these plans and things, and he just keeps laughing at me like, son, you just don't get it. Like, this is how you got here. The only way to get out of here is to pay off the debt first. So it was a long trial, long season. It was hard, and the insurance business was like a light. So for anyone in here who's even remotely confused about this business, I didn't have a way out. I literally had no way out. I remember going to a restaurant with my buddy and just like I was very down. I'm working 70, 80 hours a week. I'm making 10 grand a month, which I can't do anything with. I have all this debt. I probably have 8 grand a month in bills. Like, I was strapped. And I just remember like thinking like, what are the alternatives? Like, you know, you get in sales, you pigeonhole yourself in sales, and a lot of times in sales, it becomes, what are your options? Like, I'm thinking about pharma, I'm thinking about software. I'm like, neither one of, as good as I was at 29 in sales, I would have not gotten a job in those fields because they would want experience. Plus, this salary with a bonus or salary with a cap or something that, you know, so what else could pay me, you know? And it just became this thing of, I don't know what to do. And then my buddy, Jonathan Porcina, had bought a house. We had did a house deal together. And he bought a house and got a form in the mail. Fills it out, buys mortgage protection, return premium insurance. And the guy gets him in the business. So he's hounding me to do this. I'm like, dude, I'm done. Dude. We done did everything. We done did everything, man. If it was MLM, real estate, renting property, I mean, it was just, so, I mean, if there was something we could try to, like, we done did everything. I'm like, dude, I can't, like, it sounds MLM-ish, I can't keep trying to leverage family and friends, it's over, bro. I'm just gonna stay in the mortgage business and try to grind through it. I hated the mortgage business. And he just kept leaning on me, you know? Because I guess he just knew I could get this done. And so eventually I went to a meeting, and there was a guy, it was December 2011, and the guy who spoke, his name was Sean Mike. Now I don't know Sean Mike from a hole in the wall. I mean, like, he's making 7 figures. This is December 2011. And I had already knew I was going to do this. I'm like, I got no way out. And if these leads are anything like they say they are, I'm in. Because I'll sell, you know. So I just, you know, I kind of committed. They did like a weekly meeting. It was a different kind of deal. But I just started going to a weekly meeting. I didn't have a license. So by March, I went to another meeting. And I actually realized that this just wasn't an MLM. Like, you don't need your friends and family. Kind of leverage. Because I was like, it took me forever. I was so disengaged, but it took me forever to realize that you can actually hire people from resumes. When I saw that you could sell on your own, and then you could build with resume, because I was tired of talking to my friends and family. They weren't going to do nothing. That you could use resumes. I was like, oh shoot, this is a real job. This isn't like, this isn't an MLM. Like, oh shoot. So I got really excited. I knew right then and there, John. March 2012, it was a wrap. And it's funny because I still don't have a license. Now at that point in time, I started recruiting. No license. Like, for everyone who still has a license, has not started recruiting. When should I recruit? I had no license, I started recruiting. Just so if you're confused. I had 25 people by June that were all unlicensed in class. Well, they're going to do what I do. I had no license. They had no license. And then one girl I hired lost her mind when she saw this. And she ran to get a license. I was like, whoa, 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 I'm going to miss out on these overrides. I'm going to have to let me get a license, bro. So I finally got my license June 30th, 2012. It didn't start fast and furious. I mean, I had to hire an admin by August. I had too many people asking me questions. I couldn't do nothing. I was still running my mortgage business. And I had this. And it started this way. July, 30% this, or 30% insurance, 70% mortgages. August, 50-50. No, June, yeah. And then September 1, I went all in. And I just decided I was not doing my CE credits for mortgages. That was a dead business for me. And I decided I was going to go all in. Now, funny enough, that 6 months, I made $28,000. So if everyone thinks that, you know, I was dripping in like oil, with gasoline and fire. That's not the case. That year I made $28,000 in 6 months doing this. So some of y'all have broken that in your first month. And then that January through, that was the 13th, so 2013, my son was born 2013, February 2013. So right about the time I got licensed, we would find out we were having a baby. So my first baby, by the way. So yeah, for all the men in the room, can I get an amen? I mean, that's some scary stuff. So you know, I'm shook to death, you know, because I know that my wife's a teacher, and summer she doesn't make money, so I'm trying to get this thing down. I'm issuing paying 12 grand, 17 grand, 13 grand, and I just can't keep up, dude. I have way too many bills, too much debt. I'm buying leads, I got staff. I mean, I literally, but the comp was 55%. So to be fair and transparent, the comp was off, okay? But right around July, something clicked. You know, I was talking to Matt Smith, and he said, dude, why don't you just, every single month, run a power weekend? So he goes, why don't you dial Thursday for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, jump back on the phone Monday, dial for Tuesday, Wednesday. I was like, I'll do that. And all of a sudden, I remember going to Sean Mike's office, and them boys were killers. They sold a lot, they dialed like they were animals. Okay? They were animals. I mean, we were pansies compared to them. They were monsters on the phone. And I remember they were laughing at me because it took me 6 days to write $8 grand. And they wrote 10 grand for lunch. They were laughing at me, but you know what? I wrote $8 grand. And all I did was keep doing it. So some of y'all up here right now, these numbers, they're not exactly what you want them to be. But all I did was keep coming. I didn't care who was laughing. I didn't care what was going on. I just kept coming. And then I realized, like, kind of what I want to deliver before we get into Q&A is, when we started the company, Family First Life, I was still 100, like no debt ever got paid by that point. So, y'all heard the story. The debt started in 08. It's 2014. I have the same amount of debt, maybe more. The same amount, nothing got paid. And in that year, I grossed 200 grand. 2013. No debt paid. When I realized the power of 25 to 30, I didn't bemoan it. How many people watch football here? Football fans. Okay, you know how the NFL is real soft now, and the running back, they got 5 running backs a team, and they do this running back by committee. Jeremy, you know what I'm talking about? Okay. How many people do fantasy football? Okay, don't you hate those teams in your RBBC? It's terrible. But how many people love the bell cow? Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley. Guess what? They love it too. They get 25 to 30 carries a game. And the guys who get 8 carries and can't get it going, and they get 14 carries and just get a taste. They touch the end zone once, but they can't get it going. They freaking hate it. The bell cows, though, they don't complain. So, what I was looking was for a place that I could run like crazy. So, when I saw 25, somebody say 25 to 30 appointments a week. Some people go, oh, that's a lot of appointments. I was in Chicago last week. Let me see this real quick. You mind? Let me see this real quick. That's all I need. I was in Chicago last week and we were doing a panel, and I'm talking about this agent that I have. That's, you know, kind of climbing the ladder. He's doing 25, 30 appointments a week, brand new. And some girl goes, wow. I said, who said wow? She goes, I did. I said, you're basically saying wow from someone who does this all day. That's it. That's all they do. Wow, this is unbelievable. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh, that dude's amazing. Because he does this? Because he flips paper and picks up his phone and puts it to his ear? We're going, wow? That's crazy to me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to me that we think that's wow. It's wow that someone gets in the office at 8 and dials until at 16? That's wow? Woo! I mean, like, that's crazy to me. When I came here, this is all I saw. Matter of fact, John, we used to have that meeting every week. It stopped me from running business at the old deal. I was so happy that one day was out. Because I was like, oh shoot, liberty. The ability to run. I saw an open field. I just wanted to be a bell cow, bro. Give me the rock. So I never was like, I never begroaned it. Now, in fairness, y'all understood my debt situation, and I had a son, and I was scared. I really was. There were times I didn't think I was ever getting out of debt. I was beaten that bad, mentally, by it. But I also knew that when the comp had triple figures on it, and I had an open field, I knew it was a wrap. I mean, now all I had to do was figure out the leads. To me, that's the ultimate liberty if I'm sitting in this chair. If I can figure out the leads, which it's pretty simple now. I mean, in 2014, not so simple. But today, there's 30 lead vendors that you can choose from. Now you just got to figure out counts. Once you figure out lead counts, you spend the money and you don't go wow. It's over, Holmes. So I wanted to empower you today, like, kind of give you a backdrop of where I'm coming from and why I don't ever look at this as wow. It's why we talk about this ad nauseum. I don't say 20, I don't say 15. I'll never say those words to, especially someone new and full time. If it's someone like Amy, she's been around. Someone like Jermaine, they got real skills. They know exactly how to, dissect and go in and pick apart the situation to come out with premium. They can do a different schedule. But if you're new, this is all I know. And I don't think this is work. I think this is an opportunity. By the way, the bell cows, they're not giving them carries back. They like running the rock. So all we're looking for is a few good men and women that are looking to tote the rock today. If we can get that, we got a good shot to make some change in here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just do a Q&A. I really there's new producers in here. There's managers, there's middle managers, there's people that are growing to VP, SVP, EVP, board member. There's a lot of desires in this room, so I just want to meet people where they're at. So I'm just going to go Q&A and see how I can provide value. So you guys can kind of tee off.
Give somebody else a chance.
Yes, sir.
What does wow you?
Wow.
Is that how we starting, bro?
Congratulations, apparently it's you.
Oh, Jesus. So philosophical. Can I get back to that one?
Mark, what stops agents from getting out the gate doing that? What do you think it is that hinders them, and how can they change it?
Okay. I think that people, again, they think it's this otherworldly type of work. My biggest challenge early, because I used to be in the mortgage business, and the cycle was 3 weeks to 4 weeks. My biggest struggle early was getting a check on the first day. Does that make sense? I was so used to a lag time of kind of building rapport over 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that to go in and go for the kill in 45 minutes to an hour, that was a little troublesome for me early until I figured it out. I think, Jermaine, I think if somebody was really looking to figure this out, they would just figure it out. There's too much fruit on the tree, if you will, from people that are doing it to not figure it out. Like, I heard Shawn Mike say on a call, which I've never heard him say, probably 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, he goes, if you're not growing this now, like, it's kind of hard not to grow it now. Like, you're trying really hard not to grow it if you're not growing it. That's crazy, because he used to talk with the same conviction of dialing leads and going to meet families. So now, that conviction has now gone into building a massive organization, not just taking one lead and going to go see a family. That conviction has now jumped to building an entire infrastructure, organization, and empowering a lot of people. So I just think that if you wanted to do this, how many people, well, I won't do that, because that could be, anything could happen. Like, you could go on vacation, whatever. How many people run a legit 25 to 30 appointments a week in here? Show of hands. 3 people. 3 people.
How long?
How long you been doing this?
A month.
A month. What's your name?
Matt.
Okay. Yeah, a month. Like, I think in the first month you're trying to figure out leads. You need to get a good amount of leads to figure it out. It's not that deep. I mean, now I think the number should be closer to 80 leads a week. And I think, if people get 80 leads a week, give me somebody who's Ryan. If you get 80 leads for the week, how many leads you get now? 30, 40. How many appointments do you typically run a week?
Between 15 to 20.
15 to 20. Okay. How long does it take you to book your leads on 30? You book your appointments on 30 leads.
Not long.
How long? Huh?
Maybe a day, like I'll dial in the morning, then in the evening.
So how many hours?
4 or 5 hours.
Okay. If you had 80 leads, how many appointments do you think you booked?
At least 40.
40, right? Now, this is the rub. So this is going to answer your question. Do you want to make more money?
Yeah.
You sure? You sure? That's where we're headed right now. We just entered into a land of no return. The curtains just came down and it got dark. There's no way out. So you get 30 leads a week. You run 15 to 20 appointments a week, which is probably not true.
Sure.
15 to 20, maybe closer to 15, right? How long a week?
Yeah.
15. Got it. See, after you've been doing this, Brad, for a little bit, you start figuring out, you can look at body language, you can tell. So, 15 appointments a week, wants to make more money. Fair enough? It's America. So good news, it's America. And there's no caps in America. It's a capitalistic society. So you can make a change today and decide you're now going to be this guy. Okay? So 30 leads. Now, that gets you 15. So you're pretty much a 50, not even book ratio, 50% to lead ratio you book. Is that fair? That's pretty darn good. So y'all following me? Like, that's not contact. That's lead ratio. So that's pretty good, bro. Hard time. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty good. Now, so I could go 60 leads for someone as good as you. That's now 30 appointments, correct? How uncomfortable would that make you, sir? Very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. we're gonna get to the bottom of it, because you do know. You know who doesn't know? All of us. You know who does know? You. You definitely know. What is it, my man? What is in your schedule now that supersedes your pocket right now? Because there's stuff going on that you're not giving up.
I think I just need to get better at actually booking appointments closer together. Because I'll run 4 or 5 days out the week, but it's like, I'll run one and then I'll go 2 hours to this one. I'm just not booking them clustered enough together.
How long have you been doing this?
3 years.
3 years. Why do you think you're doing that right now?
Because I have a good close ratio, so I'm like, whatever, I'll drive 2 hours to the next one because I'm going to close it.
Dude, what if you just drove in a decent vicinity all week? You can still get to the same territories, just on days. You'd make double the money. Didn't that make sense? You sure?
Yeah.
We just entered a dark room. Gates closed, lights off. No turning back. I think, Ryan, I don't see why we can't do that, bro. I think if you go, I just got a good close. That is like you're stealing. That one line right there, the arrogance, the audacity from that one line is stealing at least 10 grand a month from you. God bless America. That's a lot of money in 30 days, bro. Because I got a good close. That's a lot of money, man. And I'm not even mad at you. You want to know why? Because there were times in my career where what I was saying to myself wasn't good enough. Does that make sense? I didn't know what I didn't know, so I kept saying stuff like, I got a good close. And then what happens is I start to believe that, and I run 15 appointments a week because I got a good close.
Yeah.
But nobody's expanding. No one is talking to me about the fact that I run here, then I run here, then I run here, all in one day in the name of my good close. But if I ran here, to 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 back here, I still got a good close. I just make a lot more money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like taking good stuff and pouring gasoline on it, lighting a match, and watching that thing go up in smoke. That's what I like. I don't like to take good stuff and take it for granted and go, it's pretty good, man. This is pretty good, man. Because then if it's pretty good, it's never going to be great. Does that make sense? And right now, you got a pretty good life. But you'd argue that it's not great because you've not paid any price for it yet. Does that make sense? The only difference between you and Mike Killian is he decided to pay a price. He's not I wish Mike was special. I think he has a lot of special gifts, but y'all are here every day. It's confusing if you're not asking him stuff. That'd be weird. But I've never heard anyone explain it simpler than Mike. You're not going to get gold and jewels. I mean, it's just like, he just talks it, and y'all are probably like, this doesn't make sense. It's so simple, this doesn't make sense. No, that's what happened. 100%. I was there. So was John. So, but they didn't make sacrifices. I think, if I was you, I don't know why, you're running 5 days a week now. The problem is you run 3 appointments a day. What a mismanagement. Does that make, not only a huge gross mismanagement of time, but a gross mismanagement of your bank account. So it's difficult for you to get to the next level with that as a thought process. Does that make sense? Very difficult. Insanely difficult. Brutally hard. But if we change one thing, what would that be?
Activate.
It's good. What's the top thing Brian needs to change right now?
Lead flow.
Lead flow. Because, lead flow begets that. How many people in here would buy 80 leads a week and not work? Show of hands for all the people who'd buy 80 leads a week and not dial them. Funny, right? So now we all know how to get rich. because everyone's hands down. We can wrap this up right here.
That's all right.
More leads. You would not buy 40 more leads a week and not die of them. You figure out how to manage this schedule then. You'd figure that out just fine. You wouldn't be jumping all over the countryside, would you? You wouldn't be. You'd be forced into economics. You'd be forced into economy. And guess what goes up? Income. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the reason why people won't do it out the gates is maybe sometimes they think, even the person that hired them is only showing them 15. You know what I mean? Or they think that this is bloody hard. You know what I mean? There's got to be more economic. You can run 24 appointments a week, 4 days a week, 6 appointments a day. How many people ever ran 6 appointments in a day? Is that not a country club? That's a serious country club schedule. 6 appointments in a day. 7 is country club. 8 is where it starts to get like tough, where it starts to become harder. 6 appointments in a day. In a day. Like, it's nuts. It's not hard work. You can literally take your time. In 6 appointments, you can take your time with every single client. Y'all notice the kid Easton? Easton? Y'all know him? Easton. Beaston. Yeah, got it. So we talked a couple weeks back, and he's running 40, 42, 44 appointments a week. And he's issuing 35,000, which I'm like, dude, something's working. Like, I'm in. But he's like, my close ratio, I'm like, so I never take anything at face value. It can't be close rate. Like, that's weird to me. You run that many appointments, you sell 35, you have a close ratio? You don't have a close ratio problem. There's another problem. I don't know what it is yet. Let me find out. So we just start talking. And he's like, you know, sometimes I'm in the home, and I have so many appointments in a day that I get anxiety in my appointments. Bingo.
Wow.
So y'all go, Beaston Easton! 48 appointments! And he can't breathe in some of the houses. I'm like, dude, let me give you my 9 appointments. Let me give you, how do I erase this?
Yeah, the clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
It still takes some work though.
That's all good.
Got that
That was a good question.
I mean, real good dude, Easton. Real good dude. Right? So, Sunday, Monday. I'll just do this right now. What I'll do, what I've done, anybody know how many appointments this is? 9. 8 to 8. Okay? I get my first one at 8 o'clock. I tell my second one, okay, Mary, I'll be there sometime. I'll be there at 9:30. Give me a little bit of window. I'll be there sometime between 9:30 and 10:30. Okay, Bob, I'm going to get there at 11. Just give me a little bit of window. I'll get there sometime between 11 and 12. Okay, Joe, I'll get there at 12:30. Just give me a little window sometime between 12:30 and 1:30. So I basically built in a 2.5 hour situation in every I have so much grace that I won't get anxiety. Because 12 appointments a day, I get that. You could get anxiety. And you don't love the one you're with, and you're like, sometimes you could blow 3 appointments if you have so many. And sometimes if you're him, so be clear, he decided to go to 44. I commend it. But then his challenge was what he did. Does that make sense? Now that might not be your challenge at 44, but that was his challenge. So I go, why don't you just run 36 appointments, 9-9, Friday, Saturday, 9-9. That's 36. I bet you'll find you don't have a close ratio problem. Because you're going to be able to slow it down a little bit. Dude, 36, 44, there's an opportunity cost. There's a cost to diminishing returns. 60. I ran 60 this week. All right, bro. Yeah. At a certain point, it's like my man Steve Giordano wrote 88 grand last, or 2 months ago, July, and like, we're not doing a training on how to write 88 grand for the month. That's not the training. I'm happy for them, but that's not the training. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The training today is not how to run 44 appointments a week. That's not the training. And if someone has that kind of work ethic, I want to work with them desperately. But sometimes it's about economy. You know, it's about efficiency. Make sense? So anytime I see that, that's easier to streamline than someone running 6 appointments a week and me trying to get them to work hard. At least with this guy, I don't have to get him to work hard. I don't want him to have anxiety to the point where he's missing stuff. Because he can easily close. You don't issue pay 35 and have a closing problem. So then when you're talking to agents, you have to listen. You don't. There's no way that $35,000 worth of people said yes and you don't know how to close. I don't care how much activity, it just doesn't work that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we gotta be a good listener when you're talking to agents. Who else has anything? Yes, sir.
So coming from the mortgage industry where, majority would be a referral-based business. So for me, coming from the company I'm coming from, this is my first true sales job getting insurance, and we do financial planning as well. So for me, it's a company who asked you to bring you 200 names. And I'm not from Georgia originally, so I brought in my 200 names. My first 4 months made just a hair under $20,000. I'm like, oh, okay, this is the most money I made my whole life. That's what I'm thinking.
Great.
So I got to the point where now you got to ask for prospects.
Sure.
So I'm calling people, trying to set meetings, talking to people who, A, have no clue who I am, B, don't even know or even realize that they have some sort of need for what I have to offer. So I have to meet with people, convince them to meet with me, and then convince them that this is important to them. So what I noticed from when I started, my motivation just dropped because I'm somebody who, I want to help you. And now I'm talking with people who don't take me kind of serious. So
How long you been with us? How long you been with Family First Life?
I haven't even started yet.
Okay.
So
Have you decided yet?
oh yeah.
Okay, so we're good there. First thing I want to know is like, what are we doing? Like, you're sitting over there and beat over the head. I don't want that to happen anymore.
No.
Now I'm on the right track. Got it.
So and for what it is I make my $40 a day.
Where?
No
Have you?
distribution.
Okay, wait. Have you? Because I can't keep doing this.
Okay.
What's your name?
Awesome.
Austin. With all due respect.
Yes.
We can't keep talking about the last deal because you're not making any money.
Right.
Transition your question to what it means to this. Is that
Okay.
where?
So coming from the mortgage industry
Yes, sir.
and entering this.
Yes, sir.
Family First.
Yes, sir.
What was the biggest relief for you?
Leads.
Leave.
And this is your problem too, right?
Yeah.
$40 a day. That's what they're teaching you.
Yeah.
Come in the cubicle, dial 40 and go home. Now you're making any money with that? No.
No.
You can't make money doing that. Are you serious? Dude, the leads set me up to have a really high floor.
Right.
Which is what you need, which is what we all need. I need a high floor. I just need a high floor. Whatever your bills are, you can sustain them as long as you keep raising the floor. That's all we do here. We just keep raising the floor. That's what's going to happen when you transition from what you're doing to this. Because you're going to go from $40 a day to $300 to $400 in a week. But you're going to come out with 30. This is my guy right here. Who hired you? Amy? Okay. Are you a worker though, or you dial $40 and run?
No, I'll
You sure, buddy?
Oh yeah.
We just entered the dark room.
No.
Gates closed. There's no way out. So 40 dials is not going to get it done.
Right.
But those are 40 painful dials.
Yeah.
Would that make sense?
100%.
They're all cold, dude. You have anxiety the whole time. Walking around, going to the water cooler, kicking rocks, talking to the guy next to you. That all makes sense in that system. In this system, that makes no sense. You follow me? You're just now, you're throwing the fastball, a heater, 99 miles an hour, and you're striking people out in the All-Star game. Does that make sense? Way different beast. But the key for you is with all the free time you have now, you have a lot of free time, tons, is not falling back into that, not being lulled in to what you're accustomed to. because this is a new day for you. And you're going to be really excited when you get your first batch of leads and you get on the phones and people go, yep, okay, sure, 2 o'clock. Yeah, okay, yep, absolutely, I'll be home at 3. You're going to lose your mind. You're gonna lose your mind so bad, you're going to get up, go to the water cooler, kick the rocks, talk to the guy next to you, because you're going to think you have more time than you actually have. You're like, holy cow. You can ask anyone in this room who's dialed leads, and they will attest that to you, Austin. So, congratulations on the decision you made.
Thank you.
You're in good hands. She's a beast. So, you got to know, you're going to not be able to settle. So, you just need to follow the path that's already laid out, and you're going to kill it, bro. Does that make sense? Give him a round of applause. Okay, who else has any questions about anything? Yes.
Hey, I wanted to know, for you agents starting out, right? What would you say the one piece of advice you would give them to get them going and to get them going quickly?
New agents starting out.
Yeah, so they just got done their contracting, they need to get moving, right?
How many agents do you have in this position right now?
Like, about 6 or 7.
Okay, what would you say to them?
They need to get on the phone.
Okay.
They need to get their leads going and then, dial and get it going.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much do you issue a month?
40, 50K, because this month I should be
Okay.
about 50K.
So there's no way you don't know the answer to that. Does that make sense? No way. Now it's a good question, but there's no way, Leticia, you don't know the answer to that.
True.
That's a way of question.
I want to know what you
I flew in from New Jersey. I came to answer stuff that people really want to know the answer
But
to.
I want to know what you
You know what to, you write 40, like, you know what's crazy? And I'll definitely edify the room, I'm sorry. I gotta do this to you, Les. I mean, like, at the end of the day, when I have a producer, I don't care how fast they get to 30, 40 grand a month. When they get to that number, they can't ask me sales questions. That's ludicrous. That would be like me saying, all right, our job today, Leticia, if you're my new agent, we're 4 or 5 months in, you issue 30, 40 grand. In month 4, you issue 30. In month 5, you issue 40. And in month 6, you're calling me asking me sales questions. That would make me think that you think that my job is to help you get to 80 grand a month. That's not my job. My job is to help you get to 30, 40. And then we're going to talk about building an organization. Now, we should be building an organization the whole time, but I'm not going to answer like, let's evolve. For the room, not for you, because you don't know the answer, 40K producer. For the room, what I would say to a new producer is this. And I'm sure this will help you as well. I had to do it, Leticia. It's only because I know you. Well, here's what we got. This is what I try to explain to people. This is what I try to explain to people earlier. There's only two things. There's only two sides that you need to worry about when we're talking about getting started fast. There is system. And then there is accountability. That's all I really need them to understand. Okay? The system includes the Facebook pages. I usually recommend all the board member pages. There's a board member who has a Facebook page, group, chat, private chat, get in. Tell all your new agents, get in those pages. The people are really positive. There's usually zero negativity. If one idiot says something dumb, they smoke them out in 30 seconds, they get kicked out of the group. You need your new agents to have life, not death.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Facebook pages. Number 2, podcasts. Number 3, videos. And make sure, now some of y'all have, what I would put under this is this, because there's trainings Monday and Thursday here, right, John?
Yeah.
So I put, what do y'all call this? Live training. So I put the live training as part of that, because that's part of the videos, but I break it out. And then some of y'all have separate chats, like a WhatsApp or a GroupMe or whatever. That would be part of this system. If I can submerge them into this, and they bite down on this, we're halfway there. The other side of that is the accountability side. That includes schedule, that includes protecting your dial time. Guess what? Everybody has a dial time. Not everyone protects it. So I don't even call it dials. I don't say dial time. I say protecting your dial time. And then the third thing is leads. This is what you need to be accountable to. There's no mistake. I can go down this forever, and I'll know exactly what the problem is. But in that problem, there's only 3 places we can work. 3. Everybody wants to know about the products and the in-home. You want to know about the in-home? Get on the Inside the Sale podcast. The likelihood of me going over my in-home with you is slim to none. I'm dealing with this only. Does that make sense? I have no time to go strategically. We're not doing that until you have activity. Does that make sense? This is accountability. This tells me this. Does that make sense? Close ratio is about podcasts and what you're listening to and not listening to. That's it. It sounds like a lot. It's two-sided. Systems, accountability. The agents that do this always win. I've never met one agent who bites down on this situation, these words that no one's confused by, and loses. Never once. So I'm trying to bulletproof an agent. For anyone who wants to be bulletproof, you want to leave here bulletproof. Bulletproof vest? This is it. Good question. What's easy? But I don't go any deeper than this. Here's the good news. If they're off, I just go right back to I don't confuse. I don't go, so let me shove it up. I don't need to try to become a scientist because this is it. I'm going to figure, keep talking, boom. You're not listening to podcasts, are you? Doesn't sound like you've gotten any better in the last 3 months. Are you listening to podcasts? Nope. Okay. So then it's my problem. Podcasts are free. There's no subscription price on it. It's free. You choose to listen to Beyonce. She doesn't pay me. She doesn't. I don't get any checks. Never got one check. So now if I listen to y'all, I get paid. I'm listening to, sports radio. I'll never take the blame for that. Does that make sense? Yes.
Would you say that you could use that same system to motivate them
Yeah.
to do more?
Correct.
Also, if they're not already.
Yeah, I mean, if I introduce this, I say, it's a simple, very simple process. Good news is it's crazy simple here. There's only a couple places you got to get good at. Here they are. This is all just being submerged. This isn't. So I could just say this, and I can refer to it because there's no work to do. You click on the Facebook page and you're in. There's no work. Does that make sense? All I need them doing is getting positive pings all day from 7 board member groups. Does that make sense? I just want them getting pinged. Positive. Because now anybody can do it. Again, what we say, which is true, but some people in this room still don't believe anybody can do it. Which is ludicrous. Because everyone from all walks of life, from all over the country, it's nuts. But at least there's so much positivity. If they choose not, I'm good if you quit. Seriously. I just don't want it to be my fault. So I know if we go over this, it's not my fault. Can't be. Yes.
So you're saying, Mark, that you focus on system and accountability mainly with agents, opposed to in-home training and
100%
training?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's video.
Look,
if they can't watch a video, we all got problems, man. And I'm never going to be able to help that agent. The one who goes, I had an agent once say, I need someone to study with me in class.
I do too.
The likelihood of you being successful are very low. You want to study with someone at your house on the internet? Do you know how much time I'm going to spend doing this with them? Never any. They're never going to get a license. If someone can't watch a video on phone script, I'm mortified. If they can't get on the inside of the sale and listen to 30, 40, $50,000 producers talk about how they moved the family inside the sale to get the sale, I'm mortified. And I have zero time. And I shouldn't have any. Now, if they do listen to it and they go, hey, I was listening inside the sale the other day and I heard where Jermaine was talking about the client, I'm all ears, bro. I got time now. Now I can give you got a question for me on something that you studied? I'm your guy. But if I go listen to Jermaine's inside the sale, and you go, and we talk next week and you listen to it, I have very little time. So I don't deal with phone script and in-home. No, sir. That's why there's a system. By the way, you're in a 6-year system. It's like Alabama. We run 10 plays, and they work. Offense and defense. I know that's Atlanta, so that offends some people. But they win a lot. Does that make sense? All I'm saying is I don't need to reinvent anything. And if there's ever a problem, there's only 4 places. It's either the system or their lack of accountability. So I'll find it quickly. If it's protecting their downtime, we talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it 19 times. Once maybe. Maybe 1.5. Definitely not. Why would I do that? They're insulting my intelligence. And I'm supposed to spend time on that. See, this is how you build a big business. You become less emotionally attached and more focused on helping a lot of people. It sounds crazy because when you got 5 agents, you want to corral them all like cubs. And you want to teach them. But you can't make any money. Yeah. But when you focus on the system and pointing them places, they need you less. They become adults faster. You go get more cubs. Does that make sense? So we don't have to spend the rest of our lives focused on, small situations. Yes.
I have a second question.
Go ahead.
So, when looking back, when you were sales manager, right?
We don't even have titles then.
I'm so scared to ask questions. I'm like, what?
You got it. That's not ask away. I'm done. I got you one time. You go.
So, looking back, right, what would you say, like 1 or 2 things that you did to propel you to where you are right now?
There were plenty of times we were stuck. Plenty of times. We were stuck trying to submit 100, trying to submit 30 a week, 50 a week, 70 a week, 100 a week. Stuck. You'll get stuck plenty. I think the key to unsticking yourself, if you will, is understanding that as long as you're doing the right things, you're sowing the right seeds, this thing's going to grow. And I used to rack my brains around things not moving as fast as I wanted them to go. Things aren't moving as fast as I want them to go right now. I just don't rack my brain about it anymore. Because there was too much stress, anxiety, and unhealthiness in that, and I didn't focus on the right things. We all know what to do. It's comical that we choose not to do it. We all know what to do. So, if I'm not happy about the results we're getting, I know what to do. Sometimes I have to resubmerge them. Sometimes I gotta go back under the water. So to go in there and come out with, a new result. Sometimes that has to happen. It's perfectly fine, as long as you're willing to do it. Sometimes we trick ourselves that we work ourselves out of a situation that we can no longer go back to. The reality is this. I'll go back and run 30 appointments tomorrow, if I had to. I would not be tricked for 1 week. Maybe a couple of days. But for 1 week, I would not be tricked. Because what's the big deal? What's the big deal? It's not that big a deal. So, you asked me, I think so in answering your question, what did I do? I started to just focus again on the things that work. These same things that work for individuals work for groups. But you have to specify it to small groups. It's harder to get for Wetmore with 200 plus agents to go, because it's like there's so many deaf ears. But if he breaks those 200 plus agents out into groups, he can go, that's resubmerging himself back in, he can get this message out at scale. Does that make sense? Certain messages you can do from a megaphone, certain messages we gotta get in there. So I think you gotta figure out where you're at, figure out, you know, where you want it to go and what you're willing to do to get there. If you're willing to do it, it's gonna happen. There's no doubt. You know, that's one of the biggest, like in the beginning of the year, I just made new decisions. And I was like, look, there's certain things I'm no longer going to do, and there's certain things that I'm definitely going to do. I'm jumping on a bunch of planes. This is definitely the busiest year I've ever had in my life. I was no longer like, I felt myself probably getting more like, I had to have a conversation with my wife just about how comfortable it might have gotten. And like, we're not quite where we need to be. So I gotta change this up. Like, I need some late nights. I just need them. Now we're all different, so please don't judge me. But I need some late nights. I need to be able to work and grind till 9 on certain nights. You know what I mean? I need to be able to, that gives me time when, you know, I deal with some staff stuff during the day, agent stuff, whatever, calls. But then from 5 to 9, there's nobody around. And I can just go ham. Whether it's thoughts, new ideas, calling, talking to certain people I couldn't get enough time during the day or whatever. So I try to do that twice a week. Which changes stuff, because, you know, we had a rhythm. I'm resubmerging. I had to make decisions, Brad. Like, we're not where we need to be. And it doesn't matter, like, if it's 100,000 or 2 million a month. It's up to the practitioner. That's also what's great. It's up to the practitioner on where you want to be or not where you want to be. Right, Ryan? Like, I would say at the end of the day, you don't have to do that, dude. You don't. It's if you want to or not. If you want to, you know what to do. It's not like you knew what to do before I got here. It wasn't like I did. It's okay. I'm like, but you know what to do. But some people don't want to resubmerge. Because, Ryan, you built this life where you know exactly how to pay your bills. You know what restaurants you're going to go to. You know what clothes you're going to wear. You got, you know, probably drive a nice car. Like, you probably figure some stuff out, right? That's fair. 15 appointments a week. Life's unbelievable. You see the light of day. You see there's more light of the day than you know what to do with. And you get to do stuff with it. Whether you want to work out twice a day, which you probably work out 3 times a day. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But you got to figure out. Twice a week now? Not with them guns. You taking something out. I need. Let's talk afterwards. I mean, so, does that make sense? Does that answer that? Okay. Anybody else? Any questions about anything? Yes, sir.
Maybe still on scheduling. That helped me a lot for
Say it again.
yeah, on scheduling your day. Like that helped a lot the way you set that up.
Yes, sir.
I think I had 10 appointments. What's today? Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had a young lady. She had 5 kids. So it took me some time to get all the apps in.
Sure. How many did you write?
6 altogether.
6 apps in the house?
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
And so that kind of threw me off for the rest of the day. And that's when I got that kind of anxiety too.
Okay.
So it's like, do I skip this one to be on time with this one, or do
That's
I
great.
keep rolling?
That's good.
So it was like, I kind of got shaken up a little bit.
Okay.
But still did.
That's Great, so you did the right thing, you gotta love the one you're with. So if you got 6 apps you're writing, no way you can leave that. And yeah, that's gonna take some time. How much premium is that?
That was, probably, it was only like $10 for each kid.
What was it?
Yeah. Whole life,
Mutual amount?
mutual amount.
Okay, but that was all on the,
Well, it took a long time writing out all those beneficiaries. For her.
this was an e-app?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And then I'm new too, so it took me a little bit longer.
Okay, no, makes sense.
So it took me a long, I was there a while, longer than I probably should have.
That's fine, you're new. You wrote 6 apps in the house. The adjustment that I would make at that point in time is I would look at my deck. So if I erased it. If I, what time was that appointment?
That was, I believe 1:30,
Okay, and you left there what time?
probably, 3.
3, so how many appointments did you have left?
At that time, that was my 3rd one, so I had about 6 left.
Okay, I would just go to the next one.
Okay.
Now, if the next one was weak, I skip it, go to the next one. Like if that was the point where you just kind of booked it,
Okay.
it wasn't a strong set, I go to the next one after that. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Or I find that weak one and I kind of remove it temporarily. Because there might be 2 no-shows in a row and I'm right back on track. Does that make sense? I just don't know. But typically I'm just running my schedule. It's gonna work out. It always works out. So if you go to the next one, they're not home. You go to the next one, they're not home, you're already back. If you go to the next one, they are home, you're right, you're in front of another client. How many appointments do you book in a day like that?
That was like one of the first times I booked 10,
Okay.
so it wasn't long.
Also, I wouldn't mind you starting earlier. You know what I mean? Third one was at 1:30.
Yeah, it was like 10, 11:30, 1:30, something like that.
Alright. That's not bad. What'd you end up doing?
That day,
What'd you end up doing as far as that one decision?
where?
When you
Did you go to the next
Let me
one?
go back, let me go back. I did go to it.
Next one? Went to the
Yeah.
next one?
Mm-hmm, yeah. It was
Worked
somewhere
out.
that day.
Were they there?
No.
Okay, then what'd you do?
Went to the next one.
Were they there?
You know what, I
Okay.
can't even remember.
Just keep running, bro.
I can't even remember.
Keep running, no big deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, keep running. And I'd make sure, I'd try to get to all 6 of them that day. It might be zigzag, but the first thing I'm gonna do is go to the next one. Unless it was a weak set.
Yeah.
You follow?
Mhm.
But they were all solid, I just keep running. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Just
does.
keep moving.
Yeah, that's funny you said that, cause, last night, I went to a lady that no showed me the day before. She was there, now she opened the door for me, and, you know, brought her and her son.
Yeah.
But that took me, cause I kind of like going to one
Sure.
before I went to the other one, not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one was at 7:30, I ended up going to her house at 9.
Okay.
She was like, oh, I forgot you were coming.
And you just wrote it, right?
Yeah, we had to reschedule that one. But,
Wow.
she was out there washing cars or something.
Yeah, you let off the hook.
I did.
Ladies out there washing the car at 9 o'clock, oh, I forgot you was coming. What do you do?
Hey, we gonna take care of this one doing the porch here inside.
You mean you gotta lean into it? Does that make sense? You let her off the hook.
I did.
You know what I'm saying? But she was super ready to work. Oh, I forgot you. That's the sweetest response that you can get. Oh, I forgot you were coming. I know it's been a crazy day anyway, so you got a place where we can sit down, go over this. I really don't need a lot of time. And what's she gonna do? Stop washing the car. That's it. That's what people need to be led. You've got to lead them, or you're either selling or you're being sold. She sold you. She sold you on washing her car. Which is more important than life insurance. Imagine that though. Imagine that. Real talk. Washing the car is more important than life insurance. Under what circumstances does that change? When cancer strikes, that's when that changes. When it's too late. You gotta take it a little bit more serious. And you're new, so you gotta understand that. It really is sometimes like that. You follow what I'm saying? So just focusing on the people, not how comfortable you can be. Because it would have been uncomfortable for you to get out of your comfort zone and be so nice and hospitable to old grandma. See what I'm saying? But if you go, I'm sorry, Miss Mary, we just gotta, I don't need much time. I'll be in and out of here real quick, get you back out here washing this car. I just gotta go over this with you real quick. She's getting off that and making it happen, and buying a policy.
I think I psyched myself out,
Yeah.
in my head, because I'm like, I'm here super late.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Just, if you're there, you're there, period. This is not like, the days don't always fall the way you want them to. They probably never will. You just gotta keep rolling. Make sense? Alright. Who else? What do we got? Yes, ma'am.
Quick question, this is on hiring, is there a specific site you prefer for, what do you
For
hire? Like,
ads?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really starting to fall back in love with Craigslist. I just think that Craigslist is a cesspool for salespeople. The troubled salesperson always goes to Craigslist. I never know what I'm gonna find, dude. Does that make sense? How many of y'all been on Craigslist before because you need to make some money? You know what I mean? Like, I've been there, bro. I've been the troubled salesperson before, and I've turned to Craigslist. So I just like it, dude. I think we talk to salespeople. Whether they have licenses or not, different story. But I think they're salespeople. You know. So yes.
I'm curious, for building a team, like, I'm not confused on producing. I know the system. I know what to do. I know what to invest, buy leads, do that. And there's training, there's podcasts on it, there's videos on it, people talking about it. And I don't know if it's because there are other groups out there who, like, they don't talk about any of that, they just talk about recruiting. Like, maybe our pendulum is swung the other direction. Like, what's the system, what's the accountability, like, if you wanna grow, if you wanna build a team?
Yeah, listen. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, in your head, like, what is the system, what is the accountability for somebody who wants to do that?
Okay, so I think that you've got to focus on. I mean, like, you had some people come with you today. They're warm market, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
You know them or knew them from something, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I would start with my warm market. Does that make sense? There's a lot of people that don't want to make how much money you make. They don't even know you're making it. They don't even know that. So I would continue to do that. Start with my warm market. But then if I wanted to get a system going for hiring, I treat hiring like I treat running business. So I think that if I can get a certain amount of resumes, dials, interviews, hires. We'll go. Class, hires are really contracted, so class and contract agents. Make sense? So now I know I have to start up here. I want to get a system. I know I can hire 10 agents a week if I know how many interviews it takes to hire 10. Does that make sense? But I need a system just like so everybody here's numbers are different. Your ratios are all different, correct?
Yeah.
Some people can do it in 18 appointments, some people do it in 25, some people 30. No different. Might make me 25 interviews, might take you 10. You might hire 10, you might go 10 for 12. I don't know. You might go 10 for 15. But I know I can hire 10 a week. Then I gotta write how many interviews, how many ads or responders did it take? These are ad resumes, responders, these are ads. We post an ad, they respond. How many did it take to get this many interviews? Then all I do is backfill. I know I need 40, I need 100 resumes, 100 responders a week to hire 10. I do the same thing. I go looking at vendors. Craigslist, ZipRecruiter, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. Like I just start looking at different things. secure agent leads, social insurance leads, recruiting leads. And I start looking and saying, all right, how many do I need? But I think the biggest conversion from running business to this is understanding that now the podcast you want to listen to should happen at night, should happen while you're getting dressed in the morning. I listen to podcasts in the shower all the time. I get that I steal 45 minutes every morning between the shower and getting dressed, podcast. So the same podcast, now that we go listen to while you're in your car, I go, you want to build a business, your car now becomes very expensive time. Because building a business creates a residual that can get insane. But you have to grind like you do booking appointments. So when you're on the phone booking appointments, this is how you don't get hiring and selling mixed. When you're on the phone booking appointments, do you think it's feasible to hire somebody?
No.
You can't. How can I do that? I'm trying to book appointments. Now, when I get done booking my appointments, can I hire people?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, if I was really looking to run a business, I'd get in here at 8. I'd want to be done with my appointments, my 16 by 12. One appointment every 15 minutes. 4 appointments an hour. If I go on a streak, I'm done at 10:30, great. Let me get 1 appointment every 15 minutes. Now I got from 12 to whenever to recruit. I need that time, because that time is my future. I need that time. So I'm running a real business. I don't have the lackadaisical time. I don't have the la time. I don't have this, I have all this amazing time. It's a beautiful day today. I think I don't have time for that. So I'm trying to build a real business. So the minutes count, the hours count, because it's going to add up over 2, 3, 4 years. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So then I jump on the phones on a Monday. I start doing interviews. I have a bunch of ads to call. I came into the weekend, blah blah blah. I'm on it. I don't care if you have an admin or not. I'd recommend you have an admin at this point, but if you don't, you're working hard. I'm in. And whoever your manager is, I'm sure they'll give you some support if you're working that hard. Okay? Now, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm in the field. I already booked my 16th. If I'm talking to Bob and Mary, can I recruit? Yes or no?
No.
Cannot, correct? So I'm not confused. So in between appointments, the only time I can start recruiting again is when I leave Bob and Mary, get in my car and shut the door. Now it's game time again. Now I'm back on the phones. I'm either talking to existing agents that I work with or new ones, prospective new ones. Because now I don't need to listen to podcasts. I need to be talking. That makes sense? If I'm confused about something, no problem. Put on a podcast. That's one drive. My next drive is back on the phones. Talking to people. Because that adds up over 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the system I use.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was on the phone ad nauseam. So was Mike Killiman, so was John Wetman, so was a lot of these guys. It's just, they're always on the phone. That's the work. It's unbelievable work. My work is a talk. God bless me with the ability to do that. So that works. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not work. It's work, but it's not work. And when you're tired, because you will be, doing that, you get tired. You'll literally get tired. You'll yawn. Did I fall asleep talking to people on the phone? In my car. I'm gonna pull over. I'm like, yo, listen, I got another call coming. I gotta take this. Let me go. For survival, right? But I am mad about it now. Does that make sense? I think nobody sees that. You know? And it's like, there's plenty of times I was tired. But I never said to my downline, guys, I'm tired. Guys, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm just so tired. I'm just out here, I'm working hard. I'm tired. Never did that. So the only person who knew was Sean White. You know? It's fun. It's perfectly fine. You gotta figure out what you want. What do you want to sacrifice for? If you're not willing to do that, then you can also hire people, which is what I recommend. But you need to have money to hire people. So you need to write good business, a lot of business, and deploy the capital. That's one thing I did from day one was deploy capital. I wrote a lot of insurance. I knew it would build speed. I knew I could compound time. Every time I brought on new 40 hours, I had 40 hours in my pocket that I got back. Another 40 hours, another 40 hours. And now I got 120 hours, plus my 80 hours. Now I'm building much faster. Costing me money. Don't want to freak anyone out. That business actually has expenses. God forbid we do that. But it was costing me money. But it was buying me immense speed and time. Immense speed and time. Does that make sense? And I'm not confused. That doesn't confuse me one iota. Does that answer that? Perfect. Okay. Anybody else?
So Mark, you said something earlier about, you know, us being here and asking questions, you know, being that we got John and Mike and all these other top producers here. So I wanted to do a little exercise with you as far as what questions you would ask if you were, and then give you a couple scenarios. So if you're a new agent, you know, because you don't know what you don't know, what are some of the questions that you would be asking as a new agent, or that a new agent should be asking?
I'd be trying to find who's doing 10,000 a week and trying to figure out how to. I'd want to know the mindset around it.
Okay.
I'd want to tap mindset. I want to hear how people think. I want to hear the way I want to hear their cadence. I want to hear what they say. I want to hear how passionate they are about it. Like, if I get Amy up here to talk about her running business, no one's confused. She's a killer. I want to hear that, but I want to hear those cadence. If I'm brand new, I'm like, I'd literally walk in this office and I would just scan and I'd figure out who's dominating and I'd flock to them. I wouldn't be mean with anyone else. I just wouldn't have a lot of time. I wouldn't have cooler talk time. I just want to know who the winners are quick. And I flock to them and start asking them questions about their process and their mindset. Mindset is everything. Because that, to me, sometimes is the differentiator. What is your mind saying to you? What are you doing with your mind? I want to know about that. Because I want to know whatever you're doing. I want to pull from people and try to dominate my mind. What else?
Makes sense. Now, you know, sales manager working your way to senior sales manager, you know, 50,000 going up to 100. Well, what are some things you should be asking?
That's usually just agent count.
Agent count, okay.
Yeah, so 50 to 100 grand is agent count. So I want to know consistency in hiring. I want to talk to a VP. I don't want to talk to a senior sales manager. I want to talk to a vice president. I want to know give me your hiring system. What are you doing? How many agents you got coming in a week? How does it look? What's the flow of it? What's the system that you're running right now from a hiring standpoint? What are you doing? Do you have staff? Do you not have staff? When did you hire your first staff? You know, so I want to talk to someone who's above the level I'm trying to go to, who I respect.
I'm assuming it'd be the same for, you know, from a senior sales manager to a VP, kind of similar pattern.
Yeah,
the 100 trying to get to 150.
I want to talk to SVPs and EVPs.
Okay.
At this point, though, I'm probably seeking out board members as well, because there was a scale that took place for them mentally along this process that allowed them to go from 150 to $1 million. That just doesn't happen overnight. And no, it doesn't happen overnight for anybody. But they literally have to grow into that mindset. There's enough questions to ask somebody. Because once you start building an organization, it's about the same stuff, it just comes different ways. Because everybody's so different. You have an eclectic group no matter what. You're a VP, you have an eclectic group of people. You're an SVP, you definitely have an eclectic group of people. So now I'm just trying to go through scenarios, troubleshoot. I want to know where were the pitfalls for you? How can I avoid it? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm looking to find out pitfalls at scale. There's plenty of them. Good news, you don't have to go through them as much. It's hard because there's so many mentors you can ask, so many people you can ask for the information. Amy, is anyone get water? This thing just too sweet. I appreciate it.
How important is self-awareness, and how do you increase that in what you're doing to know what you're missing?
Very important. Self-awareness is very important. I think you can increase your self-awareness in your daily devotions, big time. Your team's gonna help you get self-aware. They're like your kids. Or your kid's gonna help you get self-aware. You know, they're gonna know where daddy's flaws are and aren't. You know what I mean? There's no way to avoid your flaws. Best thing you can do is own them. That takes you off the hook. You know? But your team will tell you. Your manager should also be able to see some of your blind spots. So, was there a question there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're answering it.
What was it though?
How important is self-awareness, and how do you increase
I would
that?
increase it by asking my manager a ton of questions on what they see. I wouldn't mind doing a self-assessment with my team as well, but they're going to tell you anyway. They're going to tell you. And I think it's okay, because all you're trying to do is get better, right?
Yeah.
I think like we can accept we don't have it all together, it's perfectly fine. We don't have it all together. We're all flawed, up the wazoo. We have different flaws. We have different strengths. Some of you do things very well that I can't do well. And I'm not tremendously organized by nature. You know, I organize it in my brain, but it doesn't translate to my physical. It just doesn't. I got it, but I hired organized people around me to help me really stay organized. So I'm organized because I have staff that keeps me organized. Does that make sense? It's not my true strength. I can strategically organize. But organization, like the true organization, no, that's not my strong suit. So, you know, I try to stay in my strength zones. You follow? Does that answer that?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yes.
Can I get personal, please? Can you talk about your morning routine looks like and what you do for personal development?
Personal development, morning routine. So morning routine, I get up, I read the Word, I pray, I go to the gym. I typically try to read a book from Proverbs. I have a devotional that I read. What do I call it? Yeah, I guess it's a daily devotional. It's like I call it my Excalibur, which is words that I pulled from the Bible that I wrote down. So it's
Affirmation?
there it is. So it's me affirming me, and then I try to work out. Now I'm working out 5 days a week, and I try to do that every day. It doesn't happen every day. Certain days I have that throw me off, and but I try to do that every single day. And what was the second part of the question?
So what do you do for personal development?
I think that's a lot of personal development all in of itself. But I do go to seminars or I'll take some classes. Serving is a great personal development deal because you're literally taking yourself out of yourself to literally give time and help someone else learn. You know, you learn a lot, surroundings and stuff like that. Multiple different ways. We do something every once a month. I do my staff. We call it Give Day. So once a month we'll find an organization to serve with. Saturday, like when I go home, there's a guy in my church who had a burning desire to help the homeless. So he builds this thing called For the Greater Hood, and he created this pop-up shop in Brooklyn, and then they get shuttles and they pick up the homeless and they bring them in and they get donations to this pop-up shop where they hang things on like real racks, and they give them like a card, but the stuff doesn't cost money. They can purchase so much, like the card allows them to buy 3 items or something like that. And it gives them dignity to be able to go in, look at some stuff. Look at some stuff that they want and purchase it. So this is like, I want to say the 4th time they're doing this, and now the church got behind it and made it this big deal. So now it's in 4 regions. It's in Boston, Connecticut, New York, and now New Jersey. And my wife and I are going to be at the New York shop all day in Harlem on Saturday, just helping wherever all day. Now they're going to be doing haircuts, and it's a back to school book bag drive, and still they get to buy whatever's on the racks. And so I made a decision to kind of, the give day came from, we would just talk about numbers. That's it. Numbers. We'd staff meeting. What are the numbers? It really was like, why are we even doing this? You know what I mean? Because there was a period where the numbers weren't growing. So it's like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, if the numbers don't grow every single week, and all you talk about is the numbers, you start to forget what you're really doing. So I polled my staff at the end of the year, and I go, what do you guys like to do as far as give? Like, what would you like to see us do that? And then we got answers. And then I appointed one girl in my office who has a heart to give, has worked with a lot of philanthropic organizations, and she started spearheading it and reached out to a bunch of organizations, and then she'll set up once a month a place for us to go and give time and donate our time. And we do that once a month. So it became a real initiative. Now people love it. It's become something that's become a fabric of my staff. We invite the agents. They haven't come yet. I'm not mad about it. But eventually they'll come, and it just depends on what's going on that day. But that just became like a real big thing for me. Like, all right, well, as soon as we started doing that, the numbers started growing. Like we took it, and we just still don't talk tremendously about the numbers, just because I think I got caught there a little too long, and I don't think there wasn't as much value for me, and when I did that. So I talk more about culture now and trying to build it that way and build it through selflessness and giving, and it's just became a thing. It's been amazing. It's a better life, by the way, than talking about numbers all day. I think at a certain point you got to figure out what you're doing, why you're doing it, who you're going to impact. Dude, at our level, we should be impacting people. We should, in a great way, and not just through money. Through time, talent, and helping people. So this just became a thing. Who asked that question? I know, Dawn, you asked that, but then you asked it.
What exactly?
What do we do to serve? So those are some of the things we do. I do a lot with my church. We do some marriage ministry stuff. We just listen. We're not superheroes, but we just try to give when we're called upon to do it. And then there's things we're really passionate about where we volunteer our time. Like my wife volunteers with the kids at church, and but it's just part of it. To me, there was a time where I didn't have time to do any of that, and I did not apologize for it. I'm just being honest, and I would do it all over the same exact way. But the season changed, and then I was telling myself it didn't change. And then I realized I was robbing from God, and I started making new commitments towards that, which there's time for everything if you make it, But I think there was a season where running business and getting out of debt and, buying a house and putting my family in a decent financial position was paramount, because I had walked too long without it. Does that make sense? I know it's a long answer. I don't know if that answers it.
Yes, and then I have another. When you first started hiring people, so I don't have one market to hire from, so
Yes, you do.
just starting my.
There's no one in the world that doesn't have one market.
And,
That's just weird.
So, the question is how did you first, develop your questions or how did you learn your interview process?
I would get with some of the recruiters that are actually doing it on a regular basis, and I would just ask them. Because I think at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is find the pain, but they do it every day.
There you go. Siri's got you.
I think you need to know what our strengths are, right? So, unwavering support. Would you say that's a strength of ours?
Yeah.
Yes.
Elite sales training. Strength? There's a lot of people in the industry that don't have either one of these. Does that make sense? High compensation. Strength?
Yeah.
Vested renewals day one. Strength?
Yeah.
Carrier suite. Strength?
Yeah.
You know, there's some companies out there that only can write one or two products. Do you think that'd be a strength if you were talking to someone going that only has one product to write, leaves a lot of people unprotected?
No, it's not a strength
But it's a strength for us,
for us.
right? Lead, multiplicity of leads. You think that's a strength?
Absolutely.
How much of that do you go over with them though, Mark?
I find the pain.
Okay.
So I'm getting to this. You know, VP bonuses. I'm digging the whole time. I'm scanning. I don't need to go over all this. All I'm looking for is pain. 100% is pain. Because 95% of the industry is in pain. We have no pain. Only pain for what we don't work.
So you're having this conversation in person so you can see the
No. This is just.
You're reading the body language, right?
Or that. No, I mean the pain is gonna come out
In the
over the phone and stuttering and stammering. They're gonna stutter when you start asking them about their deal. And you'll know where the pain is. Do you know what I'm saying?
What are some exact questions you ask them to bring out their pain?
Well, number one, I want to know. I want to get into it with them. I want to kind of say, "Hey, Bob, Marc Meade, Family First Life. Why'd you fill out the ad?" Okay. Number one. Number two, tell me about what's going on in your world right now. Now, shut up. I promise you, so much is going to come out when I say, "Tell me what's going on in your world right now." Because there's a reason they filled out the ad. I'm not cold calling resumes generally. There's a reason they filled out the ad. There's something going on. It's going to come out of their license. If they're not licensed, it'll be a different form of pain. Right? The conversion is in what we cover. We cover everything. We cover everything. You know how many people have no leads? You know how many people are forced to buy the company's leads and only get 7 leads a week? That's not our challenge. Where do you think I'm going to go in that conversation? Multiplicity of leads. I'll close them on that alone. And I'll highlight the other things as I'm talking to them. Does that make sense? But I even find the pain. It'll always come out over the phone. I don't need to see the pain face to face. It's going to come out. They're going to stutter. They're going to stammer. Everyone stutters and stammers in their place of uncertainty. Does that make sense?
So hey, Mark, I know you got to wrap, so we might as well go back to what wows you. So,
Wow, my man's still here? He left.
No, he left. Well, my question about that is, you know, when you look at your organization, you know, what are some of the things that excite you about what guys are doing? Maybe opportunity better than a couple of you guys, but some of the things that you can highlight.
Yeah, I think
to
it
say-
wows me when someone bites down on a system unrelenting. That excites me, man. Because they're gonna do some real stuff for their family because they're willing to pay a price that a lot of people won't pay. That's just what it is. I'm not here to speak doom and gloom, but a lot of people aren't willing to pay the true price to success. Amy, I remember meeting you in 2015. We were at a Christmas party. And you had written, like, I tell the story, this is the first time I'm telling it back to you. But you said I wrote like 220 for the year. But you said it with such bite, such dog, such conviction that this was just the beginning for you. And I mean, you ended up writing 700 plus last year. Like, I would have been able, not 700, but I knew 200, I knew you were going to not write 220 the next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew it. You know what I mean? And, but you took advantage of the system and the opportunity. When that happens, when people actually do this, it's very wow. Because so many don't. Not because it's hard, because so many choose not to. So when I see someone literally changing the dynamic of their family, going from 6,000 a week to 7,000 a week to 9,000 a week, just like that, and real deposits come in from that, that's wow. Because it's not wow like it can't be done, it's wow like, oh my gosh, like this system really can change anybody's life who wants to.
Yeah.
That's still wow to me. I still get wowed by that. I love seeing that. I love seeing that. I got agents talking about they want to buy a house with 2 acres and they have the money to do it. Like, wow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because not everyone can talk like that in life. You know what I mean? And still, like, being able to do some of the things that we're able to do, you know, it's wow. So, I think, like, there's a lot of things that truly do wow me, you know. But a lot of it's behind possibilities. A lot of it's behind giving. Like, it's not wow when we give, but it's wow when we see the impact of what the giving does.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this meeting's not wow. But if 8 months from now somebody came up to me and said, you came to Atlanta 8 months ago and there was one thing that you said that did this, it turned this around, and all of a sudden I'm writing 40, I'd be like, wow, like that's wow to me. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's not the fact that I'm down here, it's that fact that if someone takes one nugget and it changes their deal, that's wow to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably it's very long. I could be here forever talking about wow. A lot of things spiritually that wow me.
That's good.
But my kids wow me, but I don't, you got That's a great question, but that's not what I wanted to start with.
No,
I love ending on it though.
Yeah, nice. Good job.
We all good?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all.
you, bro. That's good stuff, bro. Good. Yes, sir.